Broke single dad buys diapers. With last dollar. The lonely CEO behind him says, "I'll take them all." The supermarket was buzzing with its usual late evening chaos. Carts rattled, children cried for candy, cash registers beeped, and announcements echoed faintly overhead. But in the middle of all the noise stood Daniel, a man whose silence carried more weight than any sound around him. His palms were sweaty as he clutched a small pack of diapers in one hand and a crumpled dollar bill in the other. His 2-year-old daughter, Lily, sat quietly in the cart, her big brown eyes filled with innocence and trust. She didn't know that her father's last dollar was about to disappear, or that the man who once dreamed of building a future was now fighting just to make it through one more night. Daniel's throat tightened as he stepped closer to the cashier. He had walked through aisles stacked with food, formula, and toys, but every time his hand reached out, reality reminded him he couldn't afford it. His wallet was nearly empty, his bank account in overdraft, and his pride shattered long ago. Tonight, all he could give his daughter was a pack of diapers. It wasn't enough. It never felt like enough. Behind him in line, a tall, well-dressed man tapped his black leather shoes impatiently. His navy suit was perfectly pressed, his wristwatch gleamed under the fluorescent lights, and his expression was cold and unreadable. He was Alex Carter, one of the city's wealthiest CEOs, though nobody in this grocery line seemed to recognize him. To everyone else, he was just another customer. But Alex wasn't really there for groceries. He was there because loneliness had driven him to wander places he didn't belong. The endless meetings, the glass office, the mansion filled with silence, it all suffocated him. For all his billions, Alex Carter had nobody waiting for him at home. Daniel placed the diapers on the counter, his heart sinking as the cashier scanned them. The beep felt like a thunderclap in his chest. He slid the dollar bill forward, praying it would be enough. The cashier frowned. "Sir, it's $3.25. Daniel froze. He knew he didn't have it. He fumbled in his pockets, pulling out a few coins, nickels, dimes, but still short. His face flushed with shame as the line behind him grew restless. Someone sighed loudly. Another whispered, "People should come prepared." Daniel wanted to disappear. He turned to his daughter, who was chewing on the sleeve of her worn little sweater, and his heart cracked in two. Just then, Alex's voice broke through the tension. Deep, steady, and commanding. "I'll take them all." The cashier looked up, confused. "Excuse me, sir?" Alex stepped forward, his presence suddenly impossible to ignore. "Every pack of diapers in this store. Put them on my bill." The crowd went silent. Daniel's head jerked up, his eyes locking with Alex's. He didn't understand. "Why would you—" His voice trailed off, trembling between disbelief and gratitude. Alex glanced at Lily, then back at Daniel. His expression softened, revealing a glimpse of the loneliness he carried. Because no father should have to choose between his pride and his child's needs. The cashier hesitated, but then began scanning pack after pack. The pile grew higher and higher until it looked almost absurd. Daniel stood frozen, unable to process the kindness unfolding before him. He whispered, "I don't know how to thank you." Alex simply nodded. "Don't thank me, just take care of her." But this was more than just diapers. It was dignity being handed back to a man who had lost so much. That night, Alex didn't just walk out of the store. He walked out with something stirring inside him. He had seen Daniel's raw struggle, the kind of struggle money usually shielded him from. For the first time in years, he didn't feel like a CEO locked in a golden cage. He felt human. Over the next few days, Daniel thought about that moment constantly. He wanted to repay Alex somehow, but he didn't know how. He had once been an architect before life's storms drowned his dreams, losing his wife in childbirth, losing his savings to medical bills, losing himself to grief. He worked odd jobs, anything to keep the lights on, but his passion had been buried under survival. Weeks later, Daniel received a call from an unknown number. When he answered, he heard a familiar voice. "Alex, I have a proposition for you. Meet me tomorrow." Nervous and curious, Daniel arrived at Alex's sleek glass office the next day. He felt out of place in his faded shirt and scuffed shoes, but Alex didn't look at him with judgment. Instead, he slid a folder across the desk. Inside were blueprints, unfinished architectural designs for a new community project Alex wanted to build. "I did some digging," Alex said. "You're an architect. I need someone who understands not just buildings but people. I think that's you." Daniel's hands shook as he flipped through the papers. For years he had given up on his talent, but Alex was handing it back to him. "Why me?" Daniel asked quietly. Alex leaned back in his chair. "Because sometimes the people who've lost the most are the ones who know what truly matters." That was the beginning of a partnership and a friendship that changed both their lives. Daniel worked tirelessly on the project, pouring his soul into every design. It wasn't just about walls and roofs. It was about creating a safe place for families, for single parents like him, for children like Lily. And Alex, for the first time in years, felt his wealth being used for something meaningful. But challenges didn't disappear overnight. Daniel struggled with self-doubt, terrified he would fail again. Alex wrestled with trust, unsure if letting people close would only lead to more emptiness. Yet, through sleepless nights and endless drafts, through arguments and breakthroughs, they pushed forward together. Months later, the project was unveiled. A beautiful community center with affordable housing, daycare, and a playground. Families filled the space with laughter and life. Standing at the ribbon-cutting ceremony, Daniel held Lily in his arms, tears streaming down his face. She clapped her tiny hands, unaware of the journey that had brought them there. Alex stood beside them, and for once he didn't feel lonely. He looked at Daniel and said softly, "You gave me more than I gave you. You reminded me what life is really about." Daniel shook his head. "No, you believed in me when I couldn't believe in myself. That saved us." The crowd cheered, the ribbon was cut, and a new chapter began. Not just for Daniel and Lily, but for Alex too. The story of a broke single dad and a lonely CEO wasn't about money or status. It was about compassion breaking down walls, about two men saving each other in ways they never expected. One gave diapers, the other gave purpose. Together, they built something priceless, hope, and in the end, that hope became their true fortune.